Now it might be also the expectations. When you read an artist, then you project, and the human, artist is a human being, so he has his flaws and his weaknesses or dark side, But I think with this man named Youngu Verma, I felt he was such a gentle, soft-spoken, down-to-earth, humble, this humility that he had, that really touched me, And then we started having this group. We had a small group. Rashid Nadeem was there and all other friends, Rafiq Sultan Sahab. We will go and visit him, He lived in this small little place and he would always welcome, and we'll go there and he will serve us food and tea and, he had this sort of Eastern hospitality. He was very gracious. And then he'll invite Balraji Masab, Zilvi Sahab, let's get together, have this sort of, so every gathering was like a little celebration. We had this wonderful sort of sharing of this friendship. So I realized that alongside being a human being, as a friend, it's very hard to have a genuine friend who does not have any ulterior motives. He just sort of speaks to you as a fellow human being. So I think those were the things that I felt, But then as I got to know, when you get to know somebody, then there's another side comes out. And because I want to be honest with you, there was this sense of sadness. I picked up this sadness underneath this calm, quiet, very affectionate, loving person. There was this. So when I pursued that sadness, I said to him, Verma Sahab, one day I would like to interview. Because I think as a therapist, I feel that sometimes things come out in 1 or 2 hours interview that you may not know for years. So there's an interview that is on our website, and when he passed away, actually Sayyid Haider Sahab called me and he said, I went on Google or internet and I found your interview. And then so many people read that interview. I'll just share with you a page of that interview just to give you that other sense of this man, who underneath this artist, underneath this celebrated personality, there's another side of him, and that side comes from the immigration point of view. When artists come to Canada from India, Pakistan, Middle East, and other parts of the world, there is a struggle. There is a struggle how to adjust to this culture, to this community, to this environment, how you fit in, especially if you are already a celebrated artist. If somebody is a novice, a student who starts here, it's a different thing. You go to the college, you go to the university, you study and you become part of it. But when you're already an established author, a writer, your struggles are very different. So I think Youngu Verma's struggles were very different than a regular, ordinary artist or writer. So I asked him a question. Let me read you a page from that interview. Sohail, what was your dream when you came to Canada? Youngu Sahab said, I thought Canada was a country of immigrants. I was hoping to be accepted as an artist here. I knew I was a good artist, but it turned out to be different. It was very frustrating. I was asked to go to Welcome House, and I went there. I was asked to go back to school for 6 months to become a teacher in secondary school. I told them, I've been teaching in the universities. I don't want to go back to the classroom and then teach secondary school students. I told them I'm a professional artist. I applied to many community colleges and universities to teach, but they did not even invite me for an interview. All the letters I got were the letters of regret. When I went to art galleries and showed them my art, they told me it was nice, but it was not the style of their gallery. So my artwork was not accepted. It had been very frustrating, so frustrating that finally I had to go on welfare. I got so sick that my diabetes got worse and I had to go on insulin. Then I had a heart attack. In the end, I did not accomplish anything here. I think it is all because of the discrimination of this culture. Canadians never accepted me as an artist. Sohail. So what has been your routine over the years? Youngu Sahab. Over the years, I've been sitting at home, unable to do anything. After my open heart surgery, my health got worse. I have no studio, no place to sculpt. There was a time I made a few portraits and sculptures in Canada, even one of the mayor of Mississauga. I worked very hard. I created a beautiful sculpture. but it was not appreciated. 4 weeks ago, I called her office. She was not there, so I left the message on the answering machine. A week later, she called me home at 10 p.m. and asked me, what do you want? Now this is a very interesting part I want to highlight, that as Pakistani or as Asian background, we want some help, but we do not sure, I know as a psychotherapist, to articulate what do you want exactly. So Canadians want to know, I can help you with the job, I can help you with money, I can help you with this, but when you say our Eastern, whether you call it modesty, humility, so that humility is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it makes you humble and great, but in the Canadian society, it makes you unsuccessful because they don't know. People want to know, what do you want? How can I help you? So she asked, so the mayor of Mississauga, that lady was 90 years old, I think retired, what do you want? I said, Youngu said, I said, I want to see you. I haven't met you in a long time. She said, why don't we have lunch together? Then she asked, what do you have in mind? And I responded, right now, I don't have anything in mind, but I may when I see you. You see, this is his personality, this captures. And this is an enigma, this is a puzzle that a Canadian mind cannot solve. So he says, right now I don't have anything in mind, but I may when I see you. Then she suggested I call her secretary to set up an appointment. She added that she was very busy and did not have time even to see her family. I said I would think about it. I'm so frustrated, I did not even call her office to make an appointment. I thought since I had made a wonderful portrait of hers, she would offer me something. You see, this is just a piece of Youngu Verma's life, but that captures his struggle. That captures, there is a greatness about it, and there is a certain failure about it. There is a success about that, because he feels like when Mirza Khalid went for this, to the university for this interview as a professor, and the vice chancellor, the principal did not come out to receive him, he went back. Because his pride is, now you can say he was narcissistic, full of himself, he was egotistical, or there was this artistic, creative pride. You have a pride as a writer, you have pride as a scholar, pride as an artist, that somebody appreciates that. And Youngu Verma Sahib did not get that. And that is a very sort of a sad thing. You know, how can you say somebody who has a, who is a diamond, doesn't have to announce the diamond. The diamond feel that somebody would appreciate, I had that personally sad experience with Amjad Islam Amjad. There was a mushaira here in all over Canada, and Ishfaq had arranged Ali Sardar Jafri Saab, Jamiluddin Ali, Parveen Shakir was alive at that time, Amjad Islam Amjad. And I went with them to different parts. In Winnipeg this happened. In Winnipeg they had arranged an evening for the mushaira, but before that we went a day ahead to stay at somebody's place. So we went to this young man's house, and I said to him, we were supposed to stay there. He had offered his house, volunteered his house for us to stay, the guests. So I said to him, this is Amjad Islam Amjad Sahib. He didn't know. He says, who Amjad Islam Amjad, So I said, he's a great writer, I'm introducing him, he's an artist, he has made plays, the TV plays, but he was oblivious. So Amjad Sahib, I could feel he was becoming embarrassed and uncomfortable, So he said to him, his most famous play was Varis at that time. So he said, you must know Varis. That is like Tagore says, you might have heard of Gitanjali, And so the guy looks at him, he said, oh no, I never met him. So he didn't even know, he thought Varis was a man who lives here, that there's a play, So I could see the, the sadness on his face, So I think I had that feeling with Youngu Verma Sahib, that as much as I admired him and I enjoyed his company, he was such a wonderful artist and human being and a friend, but as an artist, as an immigrant artist, he had that sort of a struggle. So I think there is this sort of a mixed sort of a feelings. So whenever I saw him, I was happy to see him, and I was also sad to see him. And I didn't know how could I help him. Maybe if he was a writer, we could have helped him in the Writers Forum more, but he was not a writer, he was a sculptor, and we didn't know. So I'm partly acknowledging, maybe part of this, our meeting, when Parvez Sahib said we should, have a meeting about Youngu Verma Sahib, I was very happy to acknowledge. I think we need to talk about those feelings because many of us we affect each other in a very intimate way, and there should be some forum to share, to express those feelings. So these are my feelings, that as much as I enjoyed and felt honored to be in his presence, at the same time, whenever I came home, I felt sad about it, felt helpless, didn't know what to do, how to help. So I just wanted to share that. These are just my thoughts. We have a number of friends here today that knew him, wrote about him, talked about him. So the people that we have invited today, we have Rubina Faisal today, we have Imran Ali Saab today, we have Raj Schema Saab, Rashid Neem Saab, Nuzit Siddiqui Sahaba, and then we will have a little documentary by Muhammad Munir Mani, which shows the documentary. So this is just part of just giving you an idea of sharing our thoughts and feelings of what our encounters we had with him. So Rashid Nadeem Saab was one of the people we went together to visit him. So many of you know Rashid Nadeem is a poet, and there are not very many people who have a command on more than one language, especially in poetry. So he writes in Urdu as well as in Punjabi, and obviously he has been one of the people with Family of the Heart from the very beginning, and a good friend and sort of inspiring people. So we asked him if he would say a few words about Rashid Nadeem Saab.
गालिब ने कहा था, ओह कन नक्काशे यक तमसाले शीरी था असद, संग से सर मार कर पैदा न हो गए आशना। फन वाकई वो शीरी है जिसके अनगिनत रूप हैं और फनकार की रूह उनमें सब